Okay, so good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know it's like a weekend now, but thank you, Delhi Food Walks. Thank you, Anubhav, for inviting me over today and giving this talk on a topic that I am so passionate about. Um, it is kind of unconventional for sure, and it's very different from the kind of talks that have been happening on Delhi Food Walks. Because today we'll be talking about traveling and food. And let me tell you guys, just to clarify, I am no blogger for sure. But if you follow my Insta handle, that's Chubby Guzzler, you will probably get my take on life, on food, and I'm always talking about food. So, yes, food is the first and foremost love of my life, hands down. If you guys have any questions or comments, please post it in the chat and I shall be happy to answer them as and when I see them. We will definitely have a Q&A at the end of the session, but please do post your questions in the chat. And I also have something fun planned towards the end. So over the past few years, I noticed that my passion and my interest transitioned from, say, sports and arts, music, to, just only and only food and restaurants. I would rather save 5,000 rupees to go and try a new restaurant than I would to probably go skydive or see a concert or probably like, even a football match. I am really not sure how this kind of transition took place, but it has. And in such a way that I literally started traveling for food. It became so important that last year I literally went all the way to Australia for a month, being totally obsessed with MasterChef Australia. And I did an entire food trail there. I went across Melbourne, Sydney, Gold Coast, and like just like the kind of things we do for food, right? So around 25 countries, more than probably 80 cities, and eating out, 70 different food cuisines. By profession, I am a restaurant and hospitality consultant. I have worked as a marketing head for a hospitality group in Bombay for 3 years. And I also started my own food curation company called the Gourmet Tales Co. You guys can check that out. Basically, what I do is I research across for food brands, for innovative food brands all across India, and then we bring them to these events. We have curated the food zones for Bacardi and its 7 Weekender, Mahindra Blues, Filmfare Awards, YouTube Fan Fest, and the list goes on. Like we've just been trying to get the best taste of India right to these events. So yes, turning my passion into my profession was something that I think I'm pretty much achieving right now. And so much that I actually went to pursue a master's in gastronomy in world food cultures and mobility from the University of Gastronomic Sciences in Italy. Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing right now. And it was crazy, right? Because the kind of things we're doing for food today. People like my parents told me that, you're crazy in the middle of a happy career, you're suddenly taking this leap and taking a sabbatical. But I was like, no, the more I started traveling, the more I realized there's just so much about food that we don't know. And I want to know it all. I've always loved food right from my childhood. As a kid, we were taught to always eat local food, especially when we would go for religious visits to Rajasthan. We would have the wholesome Rajasthani thali, the dal bati churma. I would have the dhokla and the undiu and the khandvi in Ahmedabad. And being half Delhiite, I can't even tell you how much, just thinking of the charts and the Daulat ki chaat or the Bedmi Puri of Parathe Wali Gali brings like, water to my mouth. The list is just going to go on. Like, I mean, maybe, even you guys have these associations with food and something that you guys like. So being from Bombay, I have never really craved eating vada pav or pav bhaji outside Mumbai. And that's exactly the reason why I appreciate different foods so much and the culture around it. I, like many of you, live in a cosmopolitan city. So we have, like in Bombay, we have everything, right from your Indian to your Chinese to Mexican to Italian, Thai. But just point out that we can, like all these foods can never taste the same as they would in their place of origin. Like everything that you're eating here today is just the Indianized version. So if you actually think that Chinese that you're eating here is nothing but Indo-Chinese spicy noodles, I mean, it's tasty for sure, But if you go to China, it's not going to be the same. The same thing. We all love a pizza and pasta, but have you really eaten a pizza? I mean, come on. If you go to Naples, the origin land of pizza, you'll know what simply three ingredients can do for a pizza. Go have a pasta made by an Italian nonna, and it's just going to taste like something else. Take Indian food for example. Don't you think the best place to eat your biryani would be in Hyderabad? And probably the best chole kulche we can savor would be in Amritsar. And how about the bedmi puri of Delhi? So one thing also, guys, that kind of annoys me, and I think it might annoy you as well, is how people associate the word curry as Indian food. But when you come to India, there's nothing such like as a term as curry. Like what is butter chicken curry or what is like bhindi curry? Or I mean, it's just out of my mind. So that's where I come to food travel. The best way to experience a culture is through its food. It's a bold claim for sure, but how many of you actually agree to this? Doesn't food kind of make a very big part of any city, of any culture? Today, we'll be talking about the idea of traveling for food, or food tourism, as it is called. I'm extremely passionate about this topic, and I'm actually even doing a research on it. Later, we'll be talking about this initiative that I started called the Recipe Swap, which mixes travel and food. It's an initiative that I started a few months ago. So yes, what exactly is food tourism? Food tourism, I would say, is the act of traveling for the taste of a place to get the sense of a place. So becoming like food is now literally becoming the motivation for so many travelers on choosing their destination. What's just a question for you guys? What is the first thing that you search up when you travel to a new city for work or for leisure? It can be anything. I mean, don't be Google and say that, okay, what is the nearest, best place to eat, have breakfast or something like that. So even according to the World Food Travel Association, around 80% of travelers research for food and drinks while they are visiting a destination. And approximately, 7.2 out of the 10 travelers choose a destination based on food and drink. No matter, whether you're a foodie or not, you're just like food is every time going to be a very big part of your travel. After all, everyone in this world eats, right? Well, I can definitely say that I'm a food traveler, and I am hoping most of you also are. So I figured there were three main aspects when you cover food. One would be education, two would be adventure, and three is curiosity. You can definitely educate yourselves with the city's local culture and cuisine. And you can learn so much about the city's history. I mean, I didn't even need to go and study a city's history and geography. I just understood it by eating its food. The second was adventure. If you're off on your adventures, I think the best way to immerse yourself in um, any locality, in any city, is just experience their local life by giving their food a try and eating lots of it. When I visit a new city or a country, I explore their food culture by probably there are a lot of things that I do. I attend cooking sessions at cook schools. I participate in food tours, street food tours, like Delhi Food Walks itself. I go shopping in the local grocery stalls and the food markets. Like last year alone, when I visited Australia, I literally went to every food market. So I must tell you guys that I was never a fan of Australia. I thought Australia was all about beaches. That was, the thinking that I had. And my sister lives there, and she always kept telling me, "Come visit me." And I'm like, "Nah, nah, I'll come someday." And then I started watching MasterChef Australia. I started researching, and I'm like, "Oh my god! Like Australia has just so much to offer in terms of food." They have one of the best night markets. They have one of the best food markets, like the Queen Victoria market, the Prahran market, the South Melbourne market. Every single day, I would go to one market and do like an entire food trail. And it was amazing what I learned about the culture of that continent. So apart from this, I also participate in a lot of chocolate and, wine or beer tastings. I eat at local bakeries and gelaterias. And then, of course, the popular recommended restaurants. So the third aspect is curiosity. In food tourism, we should always open our minds and senses to the different places, the new flavors, the textures, and trust me, every city is going to inspire you, and every city is going to surprise you. So increasingly, I've found food to be one of the most deciding factors when choosing a place to visit. But food isn't just the reason why I might travel somewhere. It's the only souvenir I literally bring back. Like, how many of you guys relate to this? That, we always bring back things like spices, salt, coffee, chocolate, and whatnot from our travels. And we remember this. Like, actually, I don't have it right now, but I brought about these different salts from La Boqueria market in Barcelona. And when I literally did a food trail in there, in the food market there, and I got these different types of salts, and I can't even tell you, like, it's something different. Like, there was this different sea salt, there was a chili salt, and a truffle salt, and I still use them as condiments, and they are amazing. So it's just like, something I think all of us do relate to. We always bring, and it's just a thought. I think I want you all to even think about this, that don't you bring back a food souvenir when you travel? I'm just showing you a few glimpses of my traveling, like, how traveling is a food for soul. These are the crepes that I ate in Paris, and I still remember them. It's been like 2 years, but I can't get over it. Some of the empanadas I ate in the Australia food market. Um, this is a very special food trail that I actually did. That was in Armenia last year in Yerevan. It's amazing because I never thought I would have explored this city via its food. And this was simply deliciousness on a plate. Like, Armenia is known for its lavash bread, which is amazing. They have this flavorful food which just takes you on another journey. They are known for their wines and their brandy, and it's just like something that all of us should actually once, probably, I would really recommend this place to all of you. This was my Australia food tour. I mean, I have literally just eaten and eaten and eaten out there. I cannot tell you guys how much I've eaten, and luckily I also walked a lot, so I did not end up putting on that much weight. But yes, I mean, I think they have everything, right from your gelato to your Lebanese, to your croissants, to your coffee. I must tell you guys, if you want to experience good coffee, please go to Australia because it has the best coffee culture, um, especially Melbourne. And of course, my favorite thing to do is going to a local market. This was me in the winter night market of Victoria, and it was just amazing. They had such amazing produce. They had so many different kind of food brands out there, and it was definitely one of the best experiences I've had. Again, just a glimpse of some of the local food markets. This was the Turkish tea that I had, and more food, more travel. Guys, the best tiramisu you can ever have is in Italy, in this place, Osteria di Fortunata, and one of the best pastas I've ever eaten. This was one of the Vietnamese banh mi sandwich that I also got to taste, and it was amazing. So yeah, there have been so many destinations that are popular, not like only and only actually for their food. So that's when Italy comes to my mind. I've been living in Italy. Currently, I'm in Bombay, but yes, I've been there. And Italian food is world renowned. But when in Italy, the food is just so much more than what you can imagine. So when you open yourself up to new tastes while you're abroad, you suddenly come away, with an added value to your trip. And that's what I want all you guys to think about. Like, the sightseeing, of course, um, is great, but then there are the meals. The crepe that you ate right in front of the Eiffel Tower, the slice of pizza that you ate on a small trattoria in Rome, the late night kebab that we eat in Dubai, or the lavash in Yerevan, the patat fries in Amsterdam, and it will be a shame if I don't mention the puchkas of Kolkata. So it could be your delicious pad thai noodles on the street vendor in Bangkok, and these are all food memories, and they're as long lasting as the selfie that you took outside a Taj Mahal, or your Vatican or your Eiffel Tower. So just in case you want the food memories from traveling to stick around just a bit longer, there's also something called edible souvenirs that we bring back. So I think I have like a fun task for all of you. I mean, you can do it now or later. Think of a food memory that you had when you visited a place. You can either comment in the chat, or I would love to see it as well. I would love to read something like a food memory. You went somewhere, dig out a picture, and you can just put some like amazing food that you had in a visit to any city or any country you loved. You remember it. Why don't you guys just probably Instagram it? You can tag me and Delhi Food Box on it, and just go and remember your travel memory with food. So yes, I am really excited to see this. I think I've traveled quite a bit in India and also in Europe for food, and I've tried exploring their local food. Some of my favorite destinations have to be, of course, in India. It would be Delhi and Rajasthan. For Europe, it's like Barcelona, Sevilla, Amsterdam, Italy, of course, Paris, Vienna, Germany. I really like Scandinavian food as well, though there's like it's more on the non-veg side. Armenia, oh my God, I mean, Armenia, please guys, put this on your travel bucket list. I've also lived in the UK, so I have had experienced, a lot of British and Scottish food as well. And I've lived in Dubai for a very long time, and it's like kind of my, second home. So I'm quite familiar with the food and culture of Dubai. So if any of you guys have questions about Dubai, where to eat in Dubai, what to do there, please hit me up. I would be happy to help. In Asia, I've explored China, Thailand, and just last year, as I said, I went to Australia, which was one of the best trips of my life. And I can't wait to go back because I think 1 month was too less to eat there. With every travel, we only realize how every country has such unique taste. And the minute I step down the plane, the first thing I want to do is just get eating. We don't have time to waste. So just to put this into perspective, what a lot of people always ask me, what is the kind of thing that you should keep in mind when you're traveling, and how do we go about it? So this is just my quick guide. Number one, ditch the diet. I mean, if you are on a diet, please don't say I'm going to be healthy and just like not eat out one day. I mean, no, you've gone there, please go and eat and be open. Second is try to be as local as possible. Like check out travel websites. I always check out TripAdvisor. There are a lot of, like their tourism websites, Airbnb experiences. There's an app called Eat Local. I think you all should definitely download it because it tells you about the different food experiences that happen in the city that you visit. I see a lot of blogs, and I do follow some bloggers as well who are food bloggers of the particular city. So just to try and get a perspective on what is happening. I do enroll myself into a lot of cooking schools to get the food and experience. And guys, please, I cannot stress enough on the fact of please go to a local food market because you'll find the best of local food only in these markets. In India, I mean, I think at least in Bombay, there aren't, we don't have that kind of ease out here for the farmers markets or something, but definitely abroad we do. Even in India, actually, in a lot of places, there are some really cool markets. I would say even in India, please try going and visiting local farms as well, seeing the indigenous produce. It's amazing how much India has to offer. So this was my quick guide. And food is one of the most absolutely, rewarding experiences and things that I travel for. And when I travel, I base most of my experiences and discoveries on local cuisine. I enjoy the history, the natural scenery, but if it wasn't for food, I don't think, it would have motivated me to travel. So just one food for thought for all you people out here, especially, in the Indian food scene. Our street food never seems to make way to the Western palates, which sadly has been missing out in the multitude of dishes that we have. So don't you think India today needs to savor and popularize its local Indian food? Don't you think India is so culturally significant already in food, and it does have one of the best food cultures? We need to promote our food. We need to get there, right from street food to regional food, and our government needs to definitely look into this, make it a part of the bigger tourism strategy. And yes, if any of you guys have any kind of recommendations on how we can work about this, please let me know. I am working on a strategy right now, even to promote gastro diplomacy and culinary tourism in India. So yes, please feel free to post your questions on tourism. And just to wrap this up, I'm just going to talk a little about this small initiative actually I've started called the Recipe Swap. Yes, so the Recipe Swap is this small cross-cultural food community that I created. We have our Instagram page and our Facebook page. You can also email us. It's basically uniting food cultures across the world. I basically am trying. What I did was, like, through a storytelling journey, try and bring different food cultures through the eyes of 50 locals. We did a few things. Like, how we do this is basically just to get like today right now. I realized when we were traveling, like when we had this lockdown, sorry, that we can't travel and we can't probably go and eat the amazing food of what these countries or cities have to offer. So I started this initiative where I started networking with a lot of people across the world from different cities. They're locals and they're sharing. We all collaborated into this exchange of recipes where people would exchange their traditional recipes with each other. And we would come to know a little more about this person. So this was just an example of Arlette from Mexico. She shared her chili relleno recipe with the entire community. Currently, this community on an email database, I think we have around 400 people already. It's doing great. People are sharing recipes with each other. They're getting to know each other and making a food pen pal. Like the concept of pen pal was something that is long gone now, but I think we can bring it back via food. This was something that really did very well with a Lebanese recipe swap that we did from Heidi, who is from Lebanon, and she shared her hummus and baba ganoush recipe, and it was a hit. Like, people literally started trying these recipes, and they were like tagging her and being like, "Oh my god, we enjoyed your recipe," and this was amazing. I mean, it just felt so good to connect so many people across the world. They became friends, and it's like, okay, tomorrow maybe when I go to Lebanon, I'll meet her and get to know a little more about their culture. So yeah, these are more some contributions that we had from Japan, from Sicily, a Goan fish curry as well. So yes, I would say keep eating, keep traveling, eat, pray, travel, and repeat. So Siddharth, which all states have I explored in India for food? I will be very, very honest, and I feel like a very bad Indian right now. But I have been to most of Rajasthan, of course, Maharashtra. I have seen a lot of like I've visited a lot of cities in Gujarat and explored their food. Delhi, of course, because I am half Delhiite and I absolutely love the food of Delhi. I was supposed to be doing a food trail in Amritsar in the month of April, but the lockdown happened. And I had literally planned my entire food trip out there. But unfortunately, this has happened. So that's my next thing. I have done my entire research, and I have actually, I'm like, there's this thing called Rockefeller Foundation. We have submitted a plan to revive the Ladakhi food and cuisine. So this was also on my agenda to be traveling. I've done a lot of research. So Ladakh has one of the best foods ever. And I'm very soon going to be going there as well, and discovering more about the local food and culture. And we have a nice initiative planned to revive the cuisine of Ladakh. Um, Also, yes, Goa. And I really, really think I want to go to the Northeast. And that is definitely on the list. I have a lot of friends actually who already know this. I think they are online right now and they have asked me to create a India food tour. So, Anubhav, if you're listening, I think we should create one for sure for everyone out here. I can definitely guarantee I'm going to get you 25 people who will be all ready to travel all over India. Yes, it's definitely Siddharth, it's definitely great to eat at a local's home. It just opens up so much. I've done that as well. So we've done that quite a bit, but I've done that in Europe. So that's when I say that when you go, you should download this app called Eat Local, because it gives you, and even Airbnb experiences, because they give you a kind of like basically you can connect with a lot of locals in the city. And this app is amazing, especially in Italy. Oh my god, it's amazing. And even in India, actually, there's this app called Authentic Cook. It's an initiative, and it connects you to local Indian cooks in different cities. So even that's really nice. Thank you, Meloni. You can become a part of Recipe Swap by just following us on Instagram, and just sending in your email ID so I can add you to our community. And usually we send the recipes via email. It's great that I'm having so many people whom I also know out here. So thank you so much for joining in. I am so happy. I was honestly a little stressed because sometimes we just don't know how these live talks go because I cannot see you guys and I definitely want to. So please let's continue this conversation about food, about travel, about anything you want to know about my career, about what I'm doing. Um, and please, we can definitely be in touch and keep the conversation flowing. Thank you.